So this is a message to those idiots in the Chaz, the Chop, the occupied zone, what the hell you youngsters are calling it now, and we'll call it tomorrow and something different the next time around. Do you guys not have any sense of self-accountability? Do you not have any idea that a lot of the things that are going on there that you don't like, that you're blaming everybody else for, are your own fault? I mean, you guys are like little kids running around, and every time something goes wrong, it's someone else's fault. It's never your fault. Never yours. I mean, you have zero self-accountability, right? What am I talking about? Okay, first off, the Chaz, the Chop, the whatever you want to call it, Capitol Hill Zone, whatever. Its last 2 to 3 months crime statistics were much lower than they are right now. Even just the shootings. But specifically what I'm saying and what I'm referencing is this. There was another shooting there, and a gentleman bled out, and he could have been saved. The paramedics were there. They were outside the Chaz, the Chop. I'm just going to call it the what the fuck zone, because I don't know what the fuck to call it. So the what the fuck zone had paramedics sitting outside waiting to go in, but they didn't go in because it was an active shooting, and the Chaz, the fucking what the fuck zone, didn't want cops in there. So then the what the fuck zone decides to complain and say what the fuck. And say, oh, it's politics. You guys let this guy bleed out because it's politics and things like that. What the fuck? What the fuck zone? Where the fuck is your head? Pulling out of your ass. It's because of you. The paramedics are not going to rush in Johnny come lately and freaking Johnny on the spot and be my fucking hero and save a guy when there's an active shooting, and there might possibly be an active shooter there. They need the officers, the police, the people that make sure that things are safe in that area for the paramedics to go in and clear the area. And you don't want the cops in there, so it's your own fault. They asked, and you said no. I mean, Jesus Christ, what the fuck zone? What are you thinking? Abolish the police, and then you expect the paramedics to show up on an active shooting scene where someone got shot, and they don't know what the situation of the scenario is, so they're waiting for the cops to show up, but you don't want the cops to go in. And then when the cops don't go in, and the paramedics can't go in because, well, paramedics aren't cops. They're not trained to deal with situations like that. They rely on the officers to come in and clear the area first. And then you wonder, well, the guy bled out. Well, it's got to be politics. It's got to be politics. Fuck you, conservative America. Fuck you, America. Fuck your politics. Your politics let this guy bleed out. No, what the fuck zone? Fuck you. It's what you should be saying. You should be saying, fuck ourselves. We did this to ourselves. This is our fault. That guy could have been saved, and he bled out because we're a bunch of fucking morons. Now let's pack our shit, go home, and do things the right way. Reform. Reform! Not fucking violence. Not taking over shit like you're the fucking Taliban. Which is exactly what you're acting like. You remember that video when they were tearing down ancient 1,000-year-old statues, and everybody in the United States and the whole world was like, whoa, they did things, and you know who else did this and erased history? The N-word with an I on the end and an Oz in the middle. The Nas. Ease. Right? Everybody was saying it. They're just like them. Hell fucking low. You guys are destroying history too. You guys are taking your ideological stance and destroying history. You guys are doing all this crazy shit. And then you blame everybody else when shit hits the fan. You blame everybody else when the normal people like me say, what the fuck zone? What the fuck do you think you're doing? Not in this town, not here. And then you still try to change the narrative and lie, like the hotel owner. He graciously let us use his establishment. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. Let's put ourselves in the hotel owner's shoes. Yeah, he didn't want you to burn his place down, so he said, yeah, go ahead and use it, and he snuck off. And then what'd he do? File for mass evictions to get you fuckers out. Because you're just a bunch of violent motherfuckers who are privileged to the core, have no idea how life works, have no idea what right and wrong is. And you're being a bunch of little kids playing at life. If you want to play at life the right way. There's fine with protesting, that's your right. Violence is not your right. You do not have the right to use violence. You don't. When you use violence because it suits your ideological pathways, then your ideological path is wrong. Your ideological views are wrong. If your ideology requires violence to get its point across, and requires violence to get things done, to make its point, then your ideological points of view are fucked up, and you need to change them. Sorry. Grow up. I understand a lot of you probably didn't have someone to tell you bluntly how life works, to tell you in a matter-of-fact manner without beating around the bush the way life is. But look, live by, die by. The phrase used to be, live by the sword, die by the sword. Live by the gun, die by the gun. Live by, die by. Violence begets violence, people. So what are you doing? And here's a really fucked up thing, because I'm calling against violence. Just because this is my channel, YouTube's going to hit this video. Because me calling against violence is a no-no, but, you know, big money people calling for violence, yeah, thumbs up. But violence is not the answer. If you want your point of view to be taken, do it right. Do you know how much more respect you would get if, no matter how much the government tried to shut you up, you still protested peacefully? You still, civil disobedience even. Yeah, I'm okay with civil disobedience. You go out there, you do some small thing, not a violent act, some small thing, knowing that you might get arrested, to bring attention to your cause. That's fine too. I'm okay with civil disobedience. I am not okay with violence. The minute that you cause violence or harm to someone else, you've crossed a line that I can't forgive. And neither should you. Neither should anybody watching this. It's not right. Use your voice, and use your voice correctly. That's what the United States was here for. And it's funny that the people rallying against the United States are rallying against the very system that is allowing them to rally against it. But yet none of them see it. You can't see the forest through the trees. You're too short-sighted. You want the here and now. I understand. Instant gratification. I got you. I know. We all want instant gratification. Bank robbers want instant gratification. Muggers want instant gratification. Proper, good human beings, part of society, realize things take time sometimes, that the system is not perfect, but the way you change the system is by doing it correctly. You push with violence, violence pushes back, and that's not what we want, and that's what we're seeing. And even still, with the shootings, with the guy that bled out, you still couldn't take responsibility for your own selves. To the mayor of the Chop, what the fuck do you call yourself? The Chad of Chop, or the Chad of Chaz, or whatever the fuck. Where the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing? What kind of a fucking leader are you to let this shit happen? A pretty shitty leader. And then not only that, you can't take responsibility. You say, oh, the shootings came from outside. No, they didn't. You know they didn't. Come on now, we all have access to social media. You can't lie about shit like that. Stop. The first step you need to do is take self-accountability. The second thing you need to do is you need to take self-reflection. You need to figure out what's good for your cause, because right now you're making your cause look like a bunch of thugs. If I played videos of what you're doing and blurred the faces and blurred it so that way you couldn't recognize the background and any languages and things like that, and just had some sort of a basic thing and played it for someone who didn't know anything, but kind of, you know, they knew about the Taliban, they knew about Al-Qaeda and things like that, and played it, guess what? They would think that that was the Taliban or Al-Qaeda. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. You can't erase history, man. Those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. Jesus Christ. God, I wish you guys would pull your head out of your asses and grow up. I really do. I see a younger me in you guys sometimes. Yeah, I was gung-ho, young, dumb, and full of cum. Yeah, come on, world, let's fucking go. And it took the world bitch slapping me a few times to settle me down and realize, look, there are multiple sides to multiple stories and multiple ways to look at different points of view. And that sometimes your point of view isn't always the right point of view, even though you think it is. And if you think it's the right point of view, go ahead and say it and put it out there. Like this, like I'm doing. And if it's the wrong point of view, let people slap it down and be like, I have learned something. You guys have taught me something. With a reasonable, rational debate. But yeah, I'd be asking too much of those kids. I don't know, maybe someone is. If anybody in the Chaz, the Chop, the whatever the fuck you want to call it, hey, the Chad of Chaz, the mayor, whatever the fuck you are, you want to make a response video? I'd fucking love that. What is your point of view? What are you trying to accomplish? What do you see in a year? Is this a temporary occupation? What about the business owners and the people who live there who have gone on social media who say that they feel uneasy, they feel unsafe, they feel like their lives are in danger? What do you have to say to that? I mean, let's get the discussion going. That's my point of view. Now I'm waiting for somebody else to give me their point of view. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one.